Lu Xuande, while staying with Cao Cao at the court, constantly feared that Cao Cao might harm him. Every day he went into the back garden to plant vegetables, personally manuring and watering them. Guan Yu and Zheng Fei said, "Why do you not interest yourself in the great affairs of the empire, but instead learn the tasks of a petty man? What is the meaning of this?" Xuande replied, "This is not something you two would understand." The two did not dare to ask again. One day, while Xuande was watering the vegetables in the garden, a command came from Cao Cao inviting him. Xuande was greatly alarmed and asked, "Is there any urgent business?" The messengers replied that they did not know. He then followed them to the palace to see Cao Cao. Cao Cao met Lu Xuande, laughed, and said, "You have been doing big things at home, haven't you?" Xuande turned pale. Cao Cao took Xuande by the hand and led him straight to the back garden, saying, "It must be hard work for Xuande to learn gardening." Hearing this, Xuande felt relieved and replied, "It is nothing, just something to do to pass the time." When they arrived at the small pavilion, they saw that wine and vessels had already been prepared. Cao Cao said, "I saw the green plums on the branches were blossoming, and it reminded me of the time I went to chastise Zhangshu. On the road, we ran out of water, and the soldiers were all parched. I devised a trick called gazing at plums to quench thirst. I pointed my whip and said, 'There is a forest of plum trees ahead.' Upon hearing this, the soldiers' mouths watered, and their thirst was gone. Now, seeing these plums, how could I not enjoy them? Thus, I prepared some good wine and invited you, Governor, to share in the pleasure." The two men sat opposite each other, drinking and enjoying themselves. When the wine was half finished, suddenly dark clouds gathered, and a gale blew fiercely. The soldiers pointed up and said, "Look, a dragon hanging down for water." Cao Cao and Xuande went to look. Cao asked Xuande, "Does the governor understand the transformations of dragons?" Xuande replied, "I am not very clear about it." Cao Cao said, "The dragon can enlarge itself or shrink. It can soar or hide. When it enlarges, it creates clouds and spits mist. When it shrinks, it hides its form and conceals its shadow. Soaring, it flies through the universe. Hiding, it lurks beneath the waves. Now, in the time of spring, the dragon transforms according to the season, just as a man who has attained his will roams within the four seas. The dragon is a creature comparable to the heroes of the world." Xuande, having traveled the four quarters for a long time, surely must know the heroes of this age. Please try to point them out. Xuande said, "With my mortal eyes of flesh, how could I know a hero?" Cao Cao said, "Do not be so overly modest." Xuande said, "Thanks to your help, I have found a post at court. As for the heroes of the empire, strictly speaking, I do not know them." Cao Cao said, "Though you may not know their faces, you must have heard their names." Xuande named Yuan Shao, Yuan Shu, Liu Biao, Sun Se, and Liu Zhang. Cao Cao shook his head at all of them, dismissing them as ordinary, mediocre talents. Xuande then said, "Apart from these people, I really do not know anyone else." Cao Cao said, "A hero must have a bosom embracing great ambition, a belly full of good schemes, contain the workings of the universe, and have the will to swallow heaven and spit out the earth. Only then is he a true hero." Xuande said, "Who can match such a description? I really cannot comprehend it." Cao Cao pointed his finger at Xuande, then at himself, and said, "Today, the heroes in the empire are only you, Governor, and I, Cao." Hearing this, Xuande was startled. The chopsticks he held in his hand suddenly fell to the ground. Just at that moment, the rain poured down, and a peal of thunder roared. Xuande calmly stooped to pick up the chopsticks and said, "One clap of thunder has such power as this." Cao Cao laughed and said, Does a great man also fear thunder? Xuande said. Even the sage changed countenance at a sudden clap of thunder or a fierce wind. How could one not fear it? Hearing this, Cao Cao was reassured and no longer suspected Xuande of harboring great ambition. After the banquet, Xuande returned home. He recounted the incident of dropping the chopsticks to Guan and Zhang. Guan and Zhang asked, "What was the meaning of that?" Xuande said, "I learned gardening to make Cao Cao think I had no great ambition. I never expected Cao would call me a hero. I was so startled I dropped my chopsticks. I pretended to be afraid of the thunder to deceive him, so he would not suspect that I possessed the courage and strategy of a hero." Guan and Zhang both said, "Brother, you have great foresight. We could never have understood it in time."